little countdown now. We're official. And then I got this. And then this. Shout out Klein with the surf cam. Flag the surf. Emily Kirshaw in the house. Yes. Very special show for me.
Really?
I don't know how you feel about it.
Long time in the making, I feel like.
Let's go. They want you to be about, 2 fists, I think is fine. So make sure this thing's with you. There you go. You're wearing my shirt.
I am. This shirt has meant a lot over the last couple of days because I think a lot of people are going through it right now.
Going through the funk?
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into it. This is such a special show to me because if you don't know who this beautiful woman is, Emily Kirshaw, you are so much more than a real estate agent. So let's just take it. I don't know what kind of show we're having because you got quite the story. Yeah. But if you don't know who this woman is, I'll tell you what she means to me. So I'm going to just give you the precursor for those that don't know, because I didn't know who she was, but you kind of came in my life. You're my Topanga.
By accident.
I still can't believe no one's. Yeah, well, I wouldn't have changed it for anything. So you are my Topanga. I cannot believe someone's never even called. There's Chance. Come on. It's not your show today, Chance. When I met you, we're having our nerd party at Oceanside.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, those that know me, I like the most unofficial official things. So I reached out to a few folk.
All my friends.
All your friends that I didn't even realize they were your buddies.
You didn't know me.
And I say, let's go to Oceanside on like one beautiful Friday. I'm talking, I don't want clothes. We're chilling. It's beautiful out. And we're there. And you come rolling up. We're top deck Oceanside. Mm-hmm. I love this story because it's so real. And here you come through the crowd and you come walking right up to me. And you're like, thanks for inviting me to your nerd party.
Yeah.
I just love this story. So then I'm like, well, who is you? And you're like, I'm Emily. How do you not know me? And
I did not.
Well, kind of.
A lot of ego is portrayed in that statement.
Yes, but no, it was well met. And my point is, right then and there, I'm like, damn, you look just like Topanga from Boy Meets World. And you're like, no one's ever told me that. And it's been a love story since. And I love your story. I don't know. I told Camille, I was like, I don't know where you're going with it today.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you want to go? You've never ever talked about. So most of the people I have on my show, it's usually like, hi, how are you? What is you? I don't know most of you. We've been chilling for a hot minute. Yeah. And like I said, I have no qualms of telling you, I love you very, very much. I think you're a very special person and you mean a ton to me. Like you have no idea how much I want to say changed my life because that's only that guy, whatever. But you've become, everybody has these moments in these seasons, right? Mm-hmm. And talking about what you just said beginning of the show, is there a lot of people in a funk right now? Like pre-Kobe stuff? Like, isn't it seem to be?
I think a lot of people around me are going through it, which is normal.
Yeah.
But when I was saying your shirt means a lot, it's because I literally put this on today and I was like, oh, all these things I'm doing maybe aren't making me happy in the way that I thought that they were. Because I think we get conditioned in our environment to just be like, so like I'm a giver. So it's really easy for me to just give everything away. Like someone could come to me and be like, I need $1,000. And I'd be like, oh, I can make more money. Here you go. That's just like my personality. So it kind of really resonated because a lot of people around me are just kind of going through it.
So I have to tell you, I'm in a good season, thank God. And I know that that's what God does with people is that you can have, when you're in a good season, prepare for the bad and also remember to turn around and help those out. It seems that the other day when you were chilling at my house, for those that don't know, so Emily came over the other day and you were having like a cleansing. You had like a beautiful Friday. Was it Friday?
I think it was Friday. Yeah.
And you had put off a lot of things that you needed to do, lack of better words. Mm-hmm. And you pulled your phone out. And those that come chill at my house know that it's your space, right? Like you could chill. Sometimes half the time I don't even like mess with people. They're just chilling. So you were doing your thing and you were just on the phone, just checking T's and dotting I's. And it was emotional. For me anyways, I was just like, wow, this woman's life is getting, but here's what it means the world to me is that you give me this appreciation and you say like, once again, that the statement is for those that know, it's I do me. And it's powerful. And I think it's really important, but society would make you feel like you're being selfish. Yeah.
Right. It's
like
a fine line,
you can't do you.
Sure. So like Friday, I kind of just cleared house with a lot of things that I hadn't addressed. We all do that, right?
Right.
Procrastination nation. Like we just don't do them. And I felt like this huge weight just lift. But a lot of people would see that as selfish because your actions affect other people for sure. But I think that if you don't take care of yourself, you can't be of any use to anyone else.
Amen.
So, and that's what I appreciate about you. Honestly, you've changed my life in a lot of ways too.
This is going to be one of those shows.
Oh, I can already feel it.
God, I love you.
Move those tissues.
The tissues, bam. Camille knew. Can we do it? Can we do can we take it from the top, pilot?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I would love to. I feel like your story.
I'm already sweating, so it's fine.
It's not 71. You want to go lower? We can.
I think it's like nerves. It's okay.
Listen, do you want to? I mean, how many people really know Emily?
I don't know. I don't know, because people come up to me and they're like, I saw your Facebook page and you did this, and what about that house? And and I'm like, I am a lady who has 4 chihuahuas that stays home when I'm not working. I'm very, to myself. Maybe come here or like to someone's house, but I don't really go out.
No.
I'm not a drinker, maybe like twice a month.
Right. You're very, when I first met you, you have this amazing appeal about you because you have that characteristic that people want more of it,
That's so funny to me. The way we see ourselves is different than the way other people see us. So I'm flattered by that. Thank you.
Well, it's a good thing and it's a wonderful characteristic. And like I said, when I first met you, those that know me really well know that I am one greedy pants man. Like once I fall in love, that was actually our story changed somewhere different. I messed up. Our first time that we fell in love was actually, I was away at a soccer tournament, I think. I keep seeing your face on Facebook. And I'm getting annoyed. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
I'm so mad because I'm like, who is this girl? Who is this Topanga?
The Facebook again. You're like, I see this girl on Facebook. This is my life.
Bingo.
And all I'm trying to do is sell houses.
That's all he's trying. I'm not even.
You need a house. I'm your girl.
I'm just like, this woman is everywhere, and I don't know you. And of course, egotistically, I'm like, but bam, I need to know. So I did. I called you blindside. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And you were so. I could feel you were like, yo, dude, chill.
Well, I was like in the middle of moving. Right. I had a lot going on. Yeah.
So here's the story. Actually, Camille is probably the only one that knows the story, excluding maybe a nerd party or two, maybe one of those guys. I call you out of nowhere. And this has happened. Those that know, people know that call. There's probably people that are not listening at this very moment, but know me. And they're like, damn, when he calls, I'm a chitty.
After that call, I called everyone that I thought might know you. And I was like, is he a prophet? That's what I said. I was like, who is this man that just called me?
I'm sure you also said, is he a serial killer?
I did.
I'm sure.
I did.
100%.
Yeah.
When I feel led to call somebody, I completely just act on it, period, done. And that's very much for my bestie pal, rest in peace, Matthew Robinson. Like, I don't care. If I'm attracted to you, not just sex, drugs, and alcohol, I'm talking about when there's something about someone that I'm attracted to, I have to let you know because I ain't going to be here too long. So I just feel like, hey, maybe you're going through a poop day, and my conversation, which is always Jubilee anyways, I'm never going to call you and be like, you suck. So I call you blindside. I remember I was literally in the pool. I do remember this. I was in a pool, and my phone was waterproof. So I was like, I don't care if it falls. So I was call you, and this was what, 2 years ago now? A year ago?
Probably a year ago.
Wow. Year and a half. Feels like 5,000 years ago already. So I call you, and without a doubt, you're like, yo, slow your roll, son.
I know.
You didn't say that verbatim.
Invasive.
Oh, I went right for the jugular.
Like in it, you were
110%. Yeah, I was like, Emily Kirshaw, where are you? Literally, remember, I was like, what are you? At first, I do ask the precursor, how are you? Do you have a few? Because it's about to get real. And you gave me the disclaimer. You said, I'm not well, and I have a minute. And I was like,
I had just had surgery too, so I had surgery. I was in the middle of moving. It was a lot.
And next thing you know, was it a 2 hour?
Probably like
2-ish.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I was just
and
loving
I'm
on
sitting
you.
Here going, who is this guy?
But I'm no prophet, but I ask questions that I just feel like I knew.
You're intuitive. Though.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people follow that if they have it. So it was creepy.
It was very
just so you know.
I liked it though, because I think I asked the settings are very important when you're talking to somebody. Well, I'm a big talker anyways, obviously. But I remember asking you, like, physically, where are you right now? Are we sitting, standing? All that goes into, and then boom, I was able to figure out, not that it took some profit, but you were in poop station land.
Yeah.
You were in a bad place.
Yeah.
You were in a big metamorphosis stage.
Well, yeah, a lot of things changed in a very short period of time for me.
Yeah. And that was pre-nerd party, wasn't it?
No, I think it was after.
No,
it was
couldn't
before.
have been. It was pre-nerd party. It was way before.
No concept of time.
Yeah, me neither. I'm losing it. But that's stage one. Stage two is nerd party. That was the kind of you had paved the way, and that was the segue of like, you call me up 3 hours, blow me up. You don't invite me to this nerd party.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You're right.
That's what it was.
Well, you invited literally everyone I know. Like Sean Baker was living with me at the time. You invited him. Like
Shoddy.
Yep, who I was spending time with, and also Volchek, and it was just like
Volchek, John Paul,
close around me.
Yeah,
all hanging out.
I was like,
and then they invited me to the nerd party, and you weren't there.
Yeah, so the nerd party started to keep chilling.
Yeah,
and I wasn't. I think I had started something I wasn't willing to keep. I need a non-clothed environment, so they had chose somewhere that I didn't have the pass. I almost went shirtless today.
Oh my gosh!
I know. Camille's like, no. I'm wondering if it was summertime, will be a shirt. Like I'll be able to just be like, forget it, bathing suit show. But listen, so that's that. And this show's going to be a little bit scrambled pants because this is completely, all of them rather are, but that is such a powerful thing. So once again, I don't know if we can do it, but I feel like your story could be a game changer to a lot of people. You want to take it? Let's do it.
I was born at 10 o'clock at night. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, settle it.
What do you want to hear?
I know what
I'm not going to withhold anything. But
you want to go it? Do I just need to ask then?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's your house, your show.
Emily is from Massachusetts.
I am from Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Boom.
Sandwich, like the thing you have for lunch. That's my
literal town sandwich. Mm-hmm. Emily grows up, but she's not with Mama Dukes.
No, so my mom was a single mom, and my parents got divorced when I was 2 weeks old. My dad is Middle Eastern. He flies back to Kuwait. My mom has to work. My mom was like a CEO, like in the boardroom in the 80s and 90s. So I grew up around a strong woman, which is incredible. But my grandparents were really the constant in my life, and they were retired. So they, weren't really around a lot. I'm very grateful to them for caring for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess they didn't really have a choice, right? But at the end of the day, everybody did the best they can, but I in no way had a traditional upbringing. No.
Okay. And then when do we move to Florida?
So my grandparents passed away. I took care of them until they passed and sold their house, all that stuff. And my grandpa was a semi-pro golfer, but he had polio as a kid. And if he was still alive, he'd kill me for saying that out loud because it was like, he didn't want anyone to know. So he was an incredible person, but his whole life he wanted to move to Florida. And my grandmother did not want to live in Florida. So they never moved here. So I said, okay, I'm done with the snow. I actually fell off my roof the last year I lived in Massachusetts, getting like an ice dam off the roof that was leaking into a kitchen cabinet. And my grandparents' house was a lovely home, but 3 stories. That's the roof I fell off of. I got really lucky that I didn't end up in the hospital. I was outside for like half an hour, hyperventilating, thinking I was going to die. I'm like, Florida.
How old were you then?
28. So I got on a plane. The house sold. We had a 10-day close. Got on a plane, flew into Jacksonville, ran the numbers in every county because I knew I wanted to get into real estate sales and said, where do I want to live? Funniest part is I ended up in Palm Coast and, I'm a realtor, so I can't say I'm not advising. I want to be very clear. But as a consumer at the time, I was like, the crime rate is low. It's beautiful. It's so clean. This feels safe to me. Mm-hmm. That's really, I'm a feeling person. So saw like maybe 4 houses that I didn't even go inside and then signed a lease. And knowing what I know now was very lucky that it was not a phony like person trying to lease a house that they didn't own because that happens a lot here. But I got very lucky. Leased the house, went home, got the dogs, came here. So here we are. Haven't left.
What I love most about one of the things that are my favorite attribute about you is that you are an independent woman. And that's powerful.
Yeah, I think that's perception versus reality, right?
Oh, I know. I'm not saying that it's gumdrops and roses. 100%. No,
it's really hard to just I'm accountable to no one. Like in my job, I'm accountable to my customers and my brokerage and my, personal relationships. I'm accountable to those people in whatever context is defined. But so I came from a very close family that was very controlling. So as like a completely free agent, being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, that's what Florida has been for me.
Right. And then amplify that. Once again, to reiterate, I'm not saying that it's like, great, we've gotten very close. And I know that there's.
Well, you don't always make the right decision. Like it looks really good on the outside. And sometimes you're like, oh crap, what did I do?
But I talk with a lot of people, and most of which are like women that are they're candid with me. And they say like companionship is to not have it is tough. And not to mention in all aspects, not only just financially, but spiritually and physically, and you do it. And when I first met you, and I still haven't found the appropriate word to change it out for, but like, I admire the hell out of you, and I'm so proud of you, because when I first met you, I always try to look for reasons. Once again, I know I say this and it's rather barbaric to say, but like I look for reasons not to like people. It's just, I don't know why. It's not probably a good thing, but I just do. And I'm going down the list and I just couldn't find a reason not to like you. And I started to find out, I know it's a jaded thing to say, but I mean that sincerely. As I've gotten older, it's like, look, we've got to be very particular about who we let on an airplane, right? And we meet, and I'm old man pants now. So it's like, do I really need another guest on the airplane? And I was like, yes, 110%. But you've taught me so much. You've reminded me that, once again, none of this has anything to do about fiscal, none of anything to do about all your pretty acronyms and who you are professionally, but what you've become as a human being and persevered and have accomplished is what I find to be attributes that I want on my FIFA card. You follow? So I'm very proud of you for that. And those that don't know, I think and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but one of the things that's probably the most amazing and attractive is that you are very independent. It's a powerful thing. And you are someone who wants and doesn't need. And that's another thing that's very attractive about you, is that you are someone who, when we first met, there's always that there's always that like courting stage of like, how much is this person going to need from me now? Because you know me, we went hard in the paint. We were chilling. And then I disappear because I got life and we got things. You never know if that person's a want and or a needer, right? Mm-hmm. And within like 10 seconds, I was like, damn, this girl is someone who just wants people, doesn't need them. It's powerful. You have your little dungeon at home. Is this making sense to you?
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Well, I say that often. You know, it's really hard. So like talking about companionship, I've been single for like a year now. Because I'm from up north too. This is the other thing. So you're from Massachusetts too. Mm-hmm. So totally different than down here. People get married really young. Right. They have families like in their 20s, and up north it's the reverse. Everybody kind of goes through their stuff, and by the time they're 30, they're married, and then they're having kids in their 30s. Right. So I moved like at the worst possible time because I was like ready up there, and then I moved down here and everybody's already doing their thing. Right. And then I feel like just culturally, you know, relationships are different as well.
You think so?
So that want versus need.
Not disagreeing with you, but it's interesting. I've been out the game for a hot minute. Yeah. So Camille and I have been married 7 years in March, and I was old school and I courted and I did like the Leave It to Beaver status, and we courted for about 2-ish and change. So I've been out the game for a minute. Now I see it, but I don't have to act in it. I know it's brutal. I know it's brutal.
I don't know. I feel like I just don't relate. It's a completely different, like we're both from up north. I think that's why we get along so well. Right. Like it's hard sometimes, but luckily a lot of people here are from up north. So there's very few originals. Like you're an original here in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean, those that go deep though, the originals will let me know
that you're not.
You were here when you were only 3, but like, yeah, I wasn't birthed in this land, but I was, you know, being here for as long as I have. I think coming up in the school systems has a lot to do with my merit. Like those are my war stories. When you tell people that you've been to pretty much every school facility prior to the new ones, that's where you're like, damn, you really got a good sense of what this county was like and the good and the bad. But in your case, you move in at I ask a lot of people this, and I've asked you this before, but now in a public setting, do you feel the love? Have you found your rhythm, your flow, the Pomp Compton? Have you?
I'm so lucky. So I moved here not knowing anyone, like a crazy person. I took like 6 months off and just did nothing and just went around and kind of saw the things I felt like I needed to see. Right. I was really fortunate to be able to have that opportunity. And then I stumbled in on a couple of real estate interviews and said, hey, I have property and asset management background and a business background, and I want to get into sales. And I was really lucky that somebody took me in. And from there, more people took me in. And from there, more people. I mean, the community here is incredible.
You're feeling it.
Yeah, I'm so lucky in so many ways because it could have gone completely the other direction.
Right.
I could be an outsider. Maybe I still am. I don't know. But I mean,
no, I don't think you're an outsider. I mean, you're here. I mean, supposedly I'm the coolest dude in all the world. No, you are here. And I wanted to be friends with you when I was seeing you blow up on the internet. And I was jealous. I was like, yo, settle down, girl.
It's hysterical that it's the internet because we all know that I do not really know how to use the internet. I made a TikTok this weekend.
You're TikToking.
That was my first one. It took 40 minutes.
Yeah, don't tell
I had left the scene of the crime by the time I posted it.
You're a boomer, bro.
I was like, I am.
You did it though. I loved
Nobody
your
liked it. You're the only
tangent
one.
Sunglasses in the water. If that wasn't real,
they were
well
not
done.
Sunglasses. They were like prescription. They're still there. If anyone would like to assist me with the net and pulling these.
Just get in there.
Just hop in.
It's right there. You would have won the client's heart, maybe.
Well,
I should have went as Mr. Fettuccine. Should we tell the peoples our joke?
I think so.
All right, so we have this joke.
Well, no, don't tell them because then if you ever do it, they're gonna know.
Well, I'll change the name.
All right, that's fair.
So we have this running joke that when Emily is showing a house, I'm gonna roll up to the house as this little Italian guy with money over my bag or my shoulder,
like a satchel, and it's gonna be sticking out, and he's gonna have it he's gonna have a bodyguard with 100%. Him, and he's gonna in very broken English, barely
speak English. My guy, I whisper in his ear, and he speaks for me, but I'm always gonna make an offer.
He's gonna make an offer on the house so that the buyer that's there. I don't think that's ethical. I'm probably gonna lose my real estate.
But we were all honest about it now.
Well, boom, we're never gonna do it. Fired. So it's fine. Freck violation.
We will never do that. But how funny would that really be? So that's our joke. That's one of the many things and perks of being friends with us is that we love to make fun of ourselves and make fun of our days. Do you have a free day, by the way? What do you have? Is this it?
No.
Okay.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to get back to Liz. I took on a business partner.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So let's talk professionally. You've been hustling the real estate for a minute. Okay. Yeah. Once again, proud of you in that. And all of the way you do it and your jive and your feel, it's kind of what you've cultivated after doing it for a hot minute. You've just not partnered. I don't know all this right terminology, but
partnered.
Okay. So yeah. Liz, what's her last name?
Wagner.
Weg. That's what I said. There's a lot of Wagners.
She's an E.
She's a Wagner.
Yeah.
Liz Wagner, and you guys do a video every Friday.
We do, and something always happens, whether it's somebody walking in the frame or knocking over the camera or telling us to vacate a public place. We sure do.
She's a sweetness of love, and I love what you guys are working on. And
she is the brains behind the operation.
Oh, you're willing to say that, huh?
Well, I am the go, get it done. And she's the one that's like, we got to make it look pretty. You look crazy. She's the one. She's reality. Yes. And she is organized.
Well, it's working. I've been enjoying that. I love your videos. I like your marketing. I've loved your marketing from the other
marketing was like guerrilla marketing. It's like I press the button for the live and then I talk. That's like literally the extent of my marketing. So when people are like, you got to do this program, I'm like, for what? I don't know.
Well, if it's working, don't, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
But you just said you like the improvements. So here we are.
Well, I do like
compromise.
I like the lives. I like the videos. Mm-hmm. You got to get those glasses out of the water, dude.
I know. I'm very stressed.
I thought
he won't talk to me, by the way, that customer. Not actively avoiding me, but just like
he's grumpy.
If I can call him or text him and be like, hey, I have your glasses. That'd be great.
I thought if it wasn't true, what a hell of a way to market. I was going to try doing that.
Well, real estate is hysterical. I think people think that we just like sit in our little towers with our pens. I don't know what people think, but listen, I'm out there in like houses. I fell through a deck once. Like we have a lot of things that happen to us that we don't really.
I didn't know what the average real estate agent went through until I started to get older and realized like there's no tower. I like that.
I don't know.
There's some real estate towers that you guys
we just sit there and collect money and like send out paperwork.
You just really go on Zillow all day. That's all you do.
Yeah.
No, God, but
the machine.
I think I was talking. The more and more I talk with people that are we're running businesses, whether you're working for someone or working for yourself. The average meeting, right, is 90% about their dog, their family, what they ate.
If I'm lucky, it's about the dog. That's my favorite kind of meeting.
Then 10% is maybe the last 10 minutes. Like, so anyways, this is what we're going to do. And that's what makes our funky. Do you know Flagel Bagel? Do you know Jason Flagel?
No.
Okay. Great dude. He made a post yesterday and was kind of, what are you doing in 2020 for your marketing in this town? It's such a weird town. Yeah. Like it's so in a good way.
Yeah. But I moved from a really weird town to this
sandwich town.
Yeah. Where the population like quadruples for 3 months out of the year. That's where I moved from. So it's like the reverse here. It's just in the winter instead of the summer. And then
what's the reverse of a snowbird? Sunbirds?
Summer people.
Summer
peoples. We call them.
Yeah. They flock.
Oh yeah.
To sandwich
you can
land.
tell who they are. They have on socks with their sandals. They're wearing a polo shirt. And all of us that live there are just like trying to go to the grocery store.
But they're paying those bills.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but it is a weird town here for sure. I think that's why it resonates with me, is my point, in a good way.
I like it.
I do too.
And the point of that's the post that he made, you could just tell that I don't think there's a lot of DNA of the characteristics and like what works in a business arena work here. But then there's some things that work here that I know for damn sure wouldn't work in New York, Seattle, Cali, because for instance, just how many other interneters there are, how many other real estate agents there are. Here, people can work with people. And I think there's obviously a realization that those that want to get like billionaire rich, this might not be the right town for you unless you've got some billionaire buddies. But there's a ceiling financially, obviously, the demographic here, we're not billionaires. And if we are, we're not going to tell you anyways. And those that are not, they're simple, like we're simple folk and people want to work with simple people. And that's what I think is working. And that was my post on Jason Flagel's post yesterday, was just stimulating relationships. And there's not always a financial return right away.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, is this is completely relational.
Mm-hmm.
Like every appointment that I go on, I want to know who I'm talking to and what their goals are and what they're trying to accomplish. Because if I don't understand where you're coming from, I don't know how I can help you. And yeah, in real estate, that's how I make a living, is by selling properties. But at the end of the day, it's a relationship-based business. And if your goals and needs are not addressed, I mean, nobody's going to win.
I got to witness you on a phone call once, remember? Do you remember?
No, which one?
You're so like Stoey McStorson over here. You were sitting right there at your chair. Mm-hmm. You always sit in that chair. And you got a phone call. It was a cold call too. He called you from the machine.
Yeah.
And you picked up and I was like, totally. I don't think eavesdropping would be the appropriate term. I was life sucking you. I was literally like taking notes. I was like, you're already a very chill person anyways. Even though I've seen you get flustered. She can get flusty McFlusterson for sure. But you're very stoic for the most part. And you're only flusty when you like let someone in. So I was very appreciative that we had coffee that day and you were just like, letting me know that you were having a poop day. But most importantly, 99% of the time and that's what's attractive about you. You're very like, what in the heck is going on with this girl? She's so in a good way. And you picked up the phone and you were so no fluff, very, very doting to the customer, but very doop, deep, dop, boom.
Well, so I specifically remember that phone call, and this is actually like kind of a good real estate story. So that was, hi, I'd like to see some land. I'd like you to meet me there at the land. I can only come when it's dark.
Was that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to perform this transaction yet. So this is like the side of our business people don't really talk about. So I am 32 years old. I am a woman. I am not meeting a man that calls me through from the internet at a lot in the dark. Mm. So like that calmness that you saw was probably me on the inside being like, okay, all right, that's not going to, okay. Oh. And I was trying to convert him to come to the office to sit down and talk because.
I see.
Yeah,
But you still did so good.
Well, thank you.
So not only were you Stoey McStorson, but you were like defending your life.
I don't know.
In the
sounds
interim.
dramatic, but.
No, it's not dramatic. It's what's going on in the noggin.
You got to think that way.
I talk a lot about, I haven't done it on the show lately, but most of the women that I talk with that are business women or just in this safari trying to sell or do something, it's getting grimy out there. These men, that's why I always try to come bearing gifts at first, like even because my phone calls can come off really weird because I start using my vernacular is like, yo, fake date, let's do the, and people I know, once they know, they're like, wait a minute, this guy is really, like, for instance, I had a meeting cancel yesterday. What's today? Thursday?
I don't know.
I don't even know what's
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. I had a meeting cancel yesterday and the lady goes, I'm not feeling so well. And I was like, oh, you have the coronavirus. I don't want that, but that's my dialogue. I love to have fun. I guess I shouldn't be making fun of that. I guess people are really dying. So my apologies. But point is, I don't like to be stereotypical. And
well, you're like kittens and rainbows. I mean, that's your brand.
I'll go kitten and rainbows. That's my new shirt. Kittens and rainbows. But I think it's a good, fresh, it's a reminder. And you do that too, though. You were able to, I don't know how you're able. Women, it's tough to be in that workforce. And I have a lot of people keep asking me for, like, get more girls in the show that share, because women love to hear about the trials and tribulations. Is that one of those dark sided that the real estate agents just don't really want to talk about?
I mean, so like Beverly Carter was murdered by a customer. That's like a huge real estate story. Like, people think that realtors are really difficult because we're like, we need a pre-qualification. Like, we're really just trying to protect ourselves. I think that if anything, that's the one thing that people aren't really talking about. Like, we're not trying to get in your finances. We're trying to make sure that we're safe, you're safe. Think about it. Somebody calls you on your cell phone and says, hi, I'd like you to meet me at this address. You go on and find out it's a vacant home. It costs X amount of dollars, all this stuff. And then you're like, yeah, sure, I'll go meet you. No problem. How's 2:00 today?
Right.
And then, like, for me personally, I can't speak for other people. I don't have a husband. The dogs aren't going to call anyone if I don't come home at night.
Right.
So I have to be aware and make sure somebody knows that I'm going there.
Right.
And then, I mean, I've never really had an issue, a major issue. I did have someone come into an open house with a firearm that they were very happy to make me aware of.
Gunnar McGunnerson.
Yeah. So I just went and got my concealed carry here because I had it in mass. But that doesn't mean I'm, going to have it every day. But I think we put ourselves in situations that the public doesn't really realize. Like, even this past weekend, I showed a house where these people called. They were really good to go, excited, all this stuff. They tell me they're pre-qualified, and that's great. But again, online leads, so I don't know these people. And the GPS took us to the wrong property. So we pull in, I go to open my door, and this guy, who is from Massachusetts, so I'm like, okay, well, fine. He's just aggressive. But I go to open my door, and he pulls my door all the way open and to tell me that we're at the wrong house and to follow him. So I have this moment of sheer panic where I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting ripped out of this car. It was like a guy in his 60s with his wife. So, I mean, the reality is probably nothing's going to happen, but just things like that happen to us more frequently than I think anyone ever talks about.
Right.
And we don't know,
Well, I think what's unique about your industry is that nothing's the same from one day to the next. I mean, yes, there's some rudimentary stuff as far as but as far as meeting, it's always a different house most of the time. It's always different people. It's always a different setting.
Right. And honestly, I try and do most of my business by referral, because then it's like you say, hey, my friend is selling. I feel my friend's not a murderer. Well, yeah. I mean, even a listing appointment, going to someone's home.
Right. Yeah, that's a big deal too.
Imagine your job is going in strangers' homes and then coming up with a price for it and then being like, this is how I'm going to.
I've noticed that there was a shift I told you in the last couple of years, I used to be the guy that wanted you to think that I had the big building with my name on the top with a globe spinning around. And I was like, I'm the web man. The last handful of years, that's when the show being birthed at my kitchen table, I have everyone come here. And that you're a testament to that. But there's a handful of people, not that many, maybe one out of, I don't know what the percentage, but it's a rare occurrence when I can tell someone's like, I'm not trying to get killed. And I can tell, and I literally, I can sense it and my intuition, and I'll hit it head on and say, listen, don't take my word for any, that's part of my rhythm anyways. I tell people time is the most priceless commodity. And I tell them take your time on all this. If you haven't reached out to somebody that I've worked with or worked for, then don't work with me yet, because I want you going into this at peace. So my point is, there is still a lot, you have to be cautionary, And once again, it's one of those, I don't want to sound sexist, but like women absolutely have to be a wee bit more.
It's just the times we live in. I'm not sitting here saying that we're at this huge disadvantage and
no, I know,
standing on
no.
a feminism.
I don't think it's coming off that way at all.
I just mean that
you need to be alert.
I can only speak for myself.
Right.
You know, that like those things do happen, and it's.
But you're doing a good job at it, and that's what I'm saying. Like when I get to overhear and eavesdrop on your chitty chats, I'm like, damn, you take care of these people and you put a peace and a calmness over them. I'm sure I've only bought one house. I have no, you know what I mean? I bought my one little house here, but that process and having the people in it that were involved were already miracles. It can be, I mean, unless you're, Mr. You've bought 30,000 houses and you're not too scary.
I flip houses while I live in them, and I'm a real estate agent, and I have a panic attack and get stress hives every time I do it without fail.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's like
a lot of moving parts
people will do in their lives, and it's not always it's not always we got the new job and we're so excited. You know, it's not always happy honky dory stuff.
Well, that was interesting as I got to know you too, as you were saying, this isn't always pretty. Sometimes people are contacting you and they're in a poop situation. They have to sell, or because of, family issues, and that's something that you have to go into it almost even more. This isn't Jubilee. This isn't kittens and rainbows anymore. No. You kind of go into it and you're like, look, I'm going to help you, but this is very somber because again, maybe they have to sell or they're relocating due to family or medical issues. Mm-hmm. That was something that I don't really think of. Right. Yeah. I don't have that much happen to me in that case. Too many people most of the people that are contacting me are excited about new ventures or restructuring. Most of mine aren't like, this is bad news. I have to get out of this because that's not my, but I know it's got to be tough. Does that happen more often than not, or?
I would say it's probably like 50-50. And honestly, much? Yeah. Well, and sometimes it starts off like all ready to go and, you think we're going to get this done really quick or whatever, and something happens and then circumstances change.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just part of it. I think for me, the hardest part about that is just protecting my own energy and like trying to keep that even keel. Because when somebody tells you like these things, whatever they are for that person, and you have to go home at night and be like, okay, we're going to reinvent the wheel again to get this done and all this stuff and not taking it on. Because I think that stuff like forms the cancer inside you if you let it
eat your bones, bro.
Yeah. So it's hard.
Tangent. How are you doing?
How am I doing?
Yeah. Like, are we good? What season are we in? We sleeping?
I slept really well last night. I don't know, that the house clearing I did last week was really good. I think that so like for anyone that doesn't know, I was supposed to go to a wedding and I just have too many things going on. I was getting very stressed out. I was in the wedding. I bought a dress. I did all the things. And I just in my soul did not feel like I should go to this wedding because it was like I had to go twice to Pennsylvania. And if you're watching, I love you. It's not that, but just the shift in the market, my business, my personal life, my house, all these things. Right. And that's where the I do me comes in, right? Because I'm a people pleaser. So I'm like, I'll go to the wedding. I'll do the thing. I'll do this. I'll do that. I have the dress. I'm ready. Let's go. Right. I bought my tickets. Like I literally have tickets for this Friday. Wow. That if somebody wants a Frontier and a Spirit airline ticket, let me know. I'll transfer it over to you. But I just let it go. And I wasn't sleeping. I had horrible anxiety and felt like a bad person. But the reality is if I did go, I wouldn't have been happy either.
Right.
So that shift of just letting that one thing go was so profound that I think I feel like a lot more at peace.
Good.
And I slept for the first time, like the whole night, and go to bed at like 1, finding things to do. We all do that. Right. So, but I let go like 2 things like that, 2.5. One was kind of a half a thing. So that was incredible. So I feel like I'm in a good season, and my season wasn't horrible before that either. Honestly, like this team that I formed with Liz has been incredible. She is keeping me on track and encouraging me to do things outside of my comfort zone. So like I said, I do most of my business by referral, and she's all about bringing in the new business, which now there's 2 of us. So there's somebody keeping track of me, which is very important in my life, you know, and I appreciate her drive in those things because that's not my strength, you know? So growing, changing, transforming, you know, all those things are happening, which I think are good, but it's just not always easy.
It's not always easy, but that's where my love tank started to get filled, was by seeing you in your season. And you're doing, and once again, I'm not your dictator of like what's good or not, but you're teaching me. And that's, once again, relationships are like, I want you, I don't need you. And when I choose to have you in my bubbles, I'm learning by your failures and your strengths and your weaknesses. And when right now there is absolutely a really dark season for a lot of people. Obviously it goes without saying, and I don't want to get pulled into the dark side of things, but like obviously what this Kobe Bryant death should do what is we should be doing anyways. You know, like I said, we've all lost somebody extremely significant in our life. If you haven't, then you are super blessed and super lucky, but the time will come. And I think that this Kobe Bryant death should awaken your sense of mortality, awaken your sense of appreciation, awaken your sense to none of it matters in a good way. It's not about your money. It's not about your profession. It's about your health and about what you're going to do. And it sounds so cliche, but when it actually happens, unfortunately, we're creatures that react. We're not usually creatures that like do. We need to react to something. So this right now, you've reacted to your circumstances. And listen, we always have that, you know, I used to want kudos from my family that I wasn't, you know, a serial killer and addicted to drugs. Thank God, because we all go through those moments. You're like, damn, every day you have a choice. And thank God I was pretty straight edge and I never went to the dark side, so to speak. So I stayed somewhat on path, but it's very easy to go Darth Vader about it, isn't it? You know, in the midst of your dismay, it's very easy to mask it. It's very easy to abuse something or someone to run away from the pain. But see, what I think you've done, and have done this for quite some time, because I know you have a story that your encyclopedia is like this, and we're only talking about this. But even that, okay, you've had an opportunity to go Darth Vader, go to the dark side, and to rape, pillage, and ruin, and you don't. And I'm proud of you for that. And you know.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So, I grew up with my grandparents who were very straight edge, old school, like reuse the shopping bags and Ziploc bags.
Amen.
And lit fires in the fireplace to save on heat, even though they lived in this big, gorgeous house, like just very conservative kind of thing. And my mom really had a bad hand handed to her, and she went through a lot of those dark-sided struggles, and she is not really in my life anymore. Like, it's just me and the dogs. That's it.
For those that don't know, Emily has 4 chihuahuas.
4 chihuahuas.
3 of which are on the brink of passing.
Well, I mean, so I had 2, and I love them, and we took a little trip back home to Massachusetts last year, and then when we got home, I was like, you know, they were so happy just being out, and like maybe we need like a younger dog, because one is older and one's like 8. And I went to the Humane Society, and these 2 dogs were 7 years old.
17.
They are 16 and 18. One is in heart failure, but she's doing great. And then the other one is just crunchy and lopsided and angry with one tooth. Yeah. But he's, you know, adopted me as his person, because Chihuahuas are one person, so that's great. But I mean, I couldn't bring them back because I was in love with them. And then I'm sure, you know, they're no longer fit to be, they didn't even know she had a heart murmur. Right. So they gave her to me, like, here's this healthy 7-year-old dog. And I took her to the vet. They're like, so here's the thing. Right. And love is love. So there's 4 of us now. We have a great life. I do josh with Emily about the fact that she's running a hospice center for these chihuahuas. Yeah. It is if you're having a bad day, and Emily will be your friend, go to Emily's house and you will have the most heartwarming. There is one of the 4 chihuahuas that's literally named Aloof. Because she's a he He will come out for 2 minutes.
He's not a jerk. He just does. Yeah, he doesn't.
He just likes to be alone. That's
he don't need you.
No.
But if he graces you with his presence, he's a key. Hello, hello. The other three is it's like watching the Golden Girls meets the Chihuahuas, and Emily runs this hands-on feeding.
Yeah,
doting.
By hand, because they don't eat
best.
Their medicines because we got.
But you know what that says? Once again, I'm looking for every reason not to like you, and then in that moment, I'm like, damn.
Well, because people think it's crazy, and then I think they see it, and they're like, okay, you cannot bring these dogs back to the shelter. They will not survive. How did they survive until you got them?
I don't know.
Because now they all need love. All the time.
So those are your babies.
Oftentimes I'm walking around with 2. It's life.
But
anyway, I've taken my pot, having seen that negativity, and I've transformed that for me. I don't want to drink. I don't want to do drugs. That's not for me. I would prefer to run a Chihuahua hospice. That's how that positive, loving energy is so much more powerful to me than trying to block out the bad things, because they're always going to be there, even when everything's perfect, because the Buddhist principle, it's perfect all the time. Everything that happens is perfect and supposed to be there.
Right.
I mean, there's still going to be the crud that's there.
Yep. You know what I was thinking about with the other day, and no matter, I hope I don't ever. I think people may feel it sometimes, like, oh, you just think you got it all figured out. No one's ever said that to me, but no matter who you are, you don't have it figured out because you haven't done your taxes yet. And if you have, good for you. But there's always something. So even in the midst of I've been having some pretty good days. Yeah. I'm like, things are good.
That's hysterical, because I literally the other day was like, I got everything buttoned up. And then the accountant called and I'm like,
taxes.
Okay, here we go.
So that's my point, though, just to wake you up that even if you are in that moment of sublime.
But enjoy those moments.
Enjoy them.
They are fleeting by nature. Fleeting.
But I think, it's once again.
More of those moments.
As much as you can. Yeah. The thing is, though, it's the childlike mentality. I told you when we had one of the many things that we had talked about when we first met was, I never even asked you what you did I kind of knew because of the internet, but I don't talk about what people's professions are usually for the first X amount of days, months, as long as I never even asked that. Point is, when you ask a child, remember I told you the What Do You Do project? Mm-hmm. It's the best thing in the world. If you're having a shit day, peoples, and you're listening to this right now, then do me a favor and have some fun. Don't freak out or scare a kid, but ask a kid. And I don't know what your dictation of a kid is, but just ask a kid with a childlike mentality, what do you do? And then ask an adult, and I can almost guarantee you the response from a child, and once again, I'm using that term liberally because I don't know, but my findings were the child will say to you, I don't know, I have to be home by 5. What do you want to do? It was common ground. Mm-hmm. It was, this day is all I've got. What do you want to do? I'm going to go to Peter's house. Do you want to come with me? And do you have your helmet? Because we're going to get in trouble. Like they're troubleshooting for the day. Right. Make sense? Mm-hmm. You ask an adult, and we've all been there.
That's
my time. I think so. That's what you do. You button up and you're like, are you ready for all my acronyms? Are you ready? Yeah. And then all of a sudden by the third one, the person has totally not even paid attention to your response anyways. And it's not about it. And I'm not preaching, I'm practicing. I'm being told more and more and more by people like you that something's happening. Something's happening. And if today were my last day, I literally would die feeling like the equivalent of a billionaire, because people are calling me and telling me I'm doing things for people because I know you would do that. That's not, it's ridiculous. I'm done. If today was it, I'm out. Not that was my life mission either, by the way. All those people, anybody who's listening to this, anybody that knows me, that wasn't my MO my whole life. That's I'm able to be vulnerable and tell. It's like, I didn't grow up that way. I was 20 nothing and I was a prick. I didn't care about anything but your acronym and your money.
Right. And
then when there's that shift and you realize, oh my God, it has nothing to do about it, but it really doesn't matter. It really, look at the Kobe effect now. Mm-hmm. The money is irrelevant, but we know he had all the money in the world. Over. Done.
Well, it's about the love he had for his family is the focus.
Yep. So powerful stuff. And that's why what draws me to you. And that's why you're a constant and a common denominator in my life and in my rhythm, is that once again, you are someone who wants. And that's powerful stuff. A lot of people may not like that though. You helped me out a lot, even with my last little, my last crucifixion without going into depth about it. But when I've made decisions that I've shared with you that, hey, like I want to do this, but I feel like I'm going to receive this. And you're like,
which is funny because you made this t-shirt. So for me to tell you to do you is funny.
I was going through,
because I have a different perspective than a lot of people though. Like I've told you point blank, no one else is going to tell you this because my path is not the path of most people.
Right.
You know,
you helped me a lot through that. Yeah. And for those that don't know, I just went through some, I was going through some metamorphosis in December-ish.
I think everybody did.
Yeah.
It's like recent.
You know, no matter who I've talked to and I've shared the cliff notes of that story, then they were like, can I go? You know, like irregardless of the destination, when it's so important, this adulting thing is so unique. Like I said, who did you hang out with as a kid that you didn't want to hang out with? Nobody, except if you got drugged there by your parentals. Right. You didn't hang out you didn't go to a street block on your bike if you had a bike, not because you didn't want to go, maybe to go get that toy that homeboy hasn't given you back. But you didn't go hang out for those 5 hours in the afternoon after school was a lifetime. Where are you going? Right? Like, where are you going after school? And that's what's so important is that even today, I get still sucked in. Camille said today before you came over, she's like, what's wrong with you? I was I was like gloomed out. I have no idea why. I was like peeking.
Surprising.
What? She's looking at me. She knows it's true. She's shaking her head. I don't know. It just happens. And
it's this constant, this is the thing. I think we're all under the impression that like, we're going to reach this point where everything's just going to be even keel all the time. And that's not it. Like yesterday was one of the most stressful days I've had in like a year.
You were going
like I almost wanted to cancel on you, but I'm like, for what? Because today I'm deciding when I wake up, which was late as usual.
It's okay.
That I am going to have a great day today. And then I went to a meeting that I had to leave early and I felt guilty about that, but I still, you know.
This morning you had the meeting? Yeah, I wanted you at 10.
You're I couldn't do that. And I still
almost canceled. That's why I checked with you yesterday.
I know. You could like feel it through the universe.
I could. I never text people usually like late. You don't count. But if it's professional, I don't text people after the 5 just to like them like do them. And especially when they're podcast guests, I don't really mess with them. I mess with you. Dialogue was like, are we doing this?
Yeah, I know. And it was like a 7. I was like, oh, we're doing it. And I'm wearing the t-shirt. It's happening. We are doing it. Because here's the reality, right? So like my crap day yesterday with all that stress that I woke up today and had shifted into new boxes from where it was is still there, but I have processed it and have been able to like put it where it needs to go. And now I can focus on having a great day today because some of it is choice. And that's not to say that there aren't other issues at play, but a lot of the things that we experience are our choices.
Yeah.
On how we decide to perceive things, because perception is reality.
It's true.
So the place you're coming from shapes your reality, you know?
I think the biggest thing I've learned, and Adam at the Flower Chiropractic, Dr. Lemnuni, didn't teach me. Adam has a very good way of being, and by being, it's attractive. Yeah. Adam's not much of a teacher, which I love. And if you don't know who Adam Lemnuni is at Flower Chiropractic, this man will change your life in more ways than just like chiropractic. And that's like the misconception about, I think, all holistic people is like, well, I don't need a toe doctor right now, so I'm not going to go. Right. This dude changed my life by consequence of being and exercising a positive outlook. And don't get me wrong, homeboy goes through his seasons too. But here's what I learned. When I have an injury, which I do right now, my toe, see the guy stepped on my toe? God, it hurts like son of a gun. Wilson. I told him, he said, you owe me a new toe. I love you still though. Anyways, when I'm going through, and this is elementary compared to like something that actually doesn't allow me to play because I play the 3 days a week. And when I know I'm like, damn, I'm hurt, I'm already thinking about the next game. And I used to get caught into this hypochondriac. I'm going to die. I need to have my back replaced with like a Wolverine back. I need to get better. Adam would be like, yo, chill. This all starts, it all happens. And it does when I try to stay focused, even when I know that the ramifications of the injury are longer or going to go post a game or post tournament. I just stay positive. As ridiculous as it sounds.
There's so much strength in that. So like I have an LP shunt.
Here we go.
I know. We're diving in.
Are we doing it?
A little bit at a time, I think.
All right. Let's take that real quick. For those that have no clue, like me, I had no idea what that even was. Can't just say that.
Well, I was going to explain what it is.
All right, fine.
Okay. So I used to run half marathons. I used to be very thin and fit in my 20s. And
You're still Topanga, bro. Don't be hard on yourself. I'm getting more coffee. Continue.
Okay. I fell off a treadmill. I had a series of health events and had probably 24, 25. I had a series of catastrophic health events. Like I had broken my left ankle. I was told
at 25.
Yeah. Couldn't walk, nothing, like limping around, fell in the shower, thought I re-broke it. Like it was really terrible. Anyone that's broken a foot, like, it's probably one of the most like long drawn out things because all you want to do is stand up.
Right.
So, in that process, I ended up with either because of a medication I was taking or whatever, my foot wasn't healing. I ended up with what's called pseudotumor cerebri, which is an overproduction of spinal fluid in your brain. So now I didn't know what it was. Nobody really knows what it is. Even like now that I have it and I tell people, like doctors Google it when I go there.
Right.
So I don't really go to the doctor anymore. But so I ended up through a series of investigative tests at Mass Eye and Ear. Thank God I was near great hospitals. And then I ended up at Boston Medical Center. I had the shunt put in that diverts the extra fluid. Now in this process, I have a boot on my foot that's been there for a year. It's not healing. They get me a bone stimulator that my insurance doesn't cover. That costs like $1 billion. But luckily I qualified for some grant by the grace of God. And the lady came to my house and put it on me and like taught me how to use it and gave it to me for free. I couldn't work because now I have all these symptoms. So I had blurry vision. I had ringing in my ears, which was not just like, sometimes we get ringing. It was like, psh, psh, psh,
right.
Like I couldn't hear things. I'm like, what? Like an old person, like with a hearing problem.
Right.
I had no balance. Partially, they were trying to tell me because of my foot, but I would just fall down all the time. And keep in mind, I'm on crutches. So I'm falling down with crutches, like just horrific. I couldn't walk around the grocery store. I had a handicap placard. The doctors are like, your foot's not healing. We're going to have to amputate it. We're going to cut it off. You'll be better off in the long run. We'll get you a prosthetic. I'm meeting with these doctors. I'm like, I'm 25. I fell on the treadmill. Like, this is not real life, So finally, the foot starts to heal. It's not perfect. It was just like having a piece of wood attached to me, but I could walk. So that was incredible. And I was so grateful. But in the midst of that, I'm having this surgery for the shunt to be put in. So several revisions of the shunt, adjusting blood patches, spinal taps. We've never seen a pressure that high. I mean, just horrific.
Right.
15 medications, prescriptions, all with a side effect that I'm getting a new pill for that side effect because now this is happening and nobody knows why. And I remember this is like I had the last revision of the shunt right before I moved here, maybe 3 months before. And they're like, so we're going to set you up on Social Security. So this is... you can walk, but not really. You look great. We're happy for you.
And you're 65. 25.
65. Yes. 20. I'm probably 27 now because this was 2 years of just straight surgeries. And they're like, so we're giving you a permanent handicap placard. So you never have to worry about that again. When you go to the grocery store, just ride the cart. There's no shame in that. Like, don't let people give you a hard time. You can't work because you have all this stuff and you're falling down, which we don't know if that's from your foot or your brain, but like, we're just going to take care of you. So just fill out this paperwork, go to Social Security, da, 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 da. And I sat there and I said, this is going to be the rest of my life. And it was like an active decision. So in this process, literally healed from surgery, ended up getting pneumonia, flew here with pneumonia, ended up in the Mayo Clinic. I left that out the first time for 2 days. Then found a place to live, signed the lease, all that stuff, moved here. And that was a big reason why I took the 6 months off because I was like, I need to just heal. Right. I need to walk around the neighborhood, even if it's just to the mailbox at first and then back. Because that was the second part of all this is every time I exercised, my heart rate would go up and it would produce more spinal fluid in my brain. So I would end up with a terrible headache. Ended up also getting cluster headaches, which are also known as suicide headaches. So literally will incapacitate people to the point where they kill themselves. Was on oxygen in my own home. I mean, it was really horrific. So by the time I had gotten well enough to go back to work. I had gotten my Florida sales license and said, okay, I'm going to live life on my own terms. And looking back, I had every opportunity to sit there and go, this is the rest of my life. This is what I'm going to do. I had unlimited supplies to pain pills. I wouldn't even take them unless I was like dying. You know what I mean? Right. I had 15 prescriptions by the time it was done. I started seeing a nutritionist, Lynn at Via Pure Wellness. Thank God for her, because she fixed me right up. Nice. I put on a ton of weight. I lost like 75 pounds. Oh. I mean, it was really one of those moments where it's like I was lucky enough that I had enough control over myself right. to make those decisions. And I was lucky enough that there were people around that could help me right. in that journey of getting better, because I don't know what I would have done. If I had stayed in Massachusetts, I probably would have kept going to BMC. It probably would have been like, here's another pill. Here's right. another one. How's your Social Security paperwork going? Did you get your check? Like, are right. you okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. I just wasn't willing to accept that without knowing that I had tried everything I possibly could.
Right.
So.
There it is.
Yeah.
I wanted it so bad. So I knew that. For those that are listening, I knew that, and it was very hard. Those parts of the shows are always unique when I do have people on that I know their story, and I'm like, this woman is a Batman, and I know you're hiding your cape, but that is what is your story and your message, and that's the Topanga I love, and that's where I'm very proud of you. And if there's anything that comes out of the story, the one thing that I hope of the many is that let that resonate and let that remind you all and myself that when it burns, man. It burns.
That was years of my life in my 20s where like I look at 20-year-olds and I'm like, you're partying and like you got all this stuff going on. And I was like sitting at home lying flat because that was the only thing that would lower my pressure without drugs.
Right.
And fighting with insurance and hospitals and all this stuff and just like looking
at 65,
back, like,
I mean 25.
Yeah. I mean, that's
proud of you though. And that's what, and once again, through the midst of your dismay is what makes, unfortunately, I feel like some people's lives in their seasons are meant to help other people, unfortunately. And I think it's important for those out there. If you are learning from somebody or someone's story, whether good or bad, is helping you, tell them immediately. If you're having someone in your dreams, tell them. And when I met you digitally, I just, once again, not trying to sound like Gandhi, I don't know, but something about you was attracting you to me. Like I just needed to chitty chat, and then boom, here you tell me the story. And listen, I tell those that are dear to me, and I've told you this before, I wouldn't want that shit on anybody. You know what I mean? Like I'm not one of these people that are like, oh, it'll get better and don't worry. I straight up said like, that sucks.
Well, so here's the other side of that coin though. So that came off as like super tragic and horrible, which it was not great. It was not a great time in my life, but that did allow for me to care for my grandparents who passed of dementia and Alzheimer's. It allowed me to,
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. What is that? Okay.
It allowed me to, I had been working with the developmentally disabled in the nursing field for a long time. It allowed me to take those skills, and because I couldn't work, I couldn't go punch a clock, take care of them and cook for them and clean for them and keep them in their home and do all those things. Like that's something that looking back, I'll never think, oh, I wish I was there, because they raised me like at the end of the day, you know?
But you had to grow up real fast. And there's a bad side to that, meaning because you were robbed of some of your adolescence years. And
there's like things I don't know how to do that a lot of people know how to do.
Yeah, but 25, I'm literally living in the jungles of Costa Rica. I barely can tie my own shoes. Not that I wore shoes, but you know what I mean. Yeah. And here you were learning how to fill out paperwork. I mean, just that alone. You know what I mean? Even if it was just that, as mundane and ridiculous as it sounds like, learning what a medical form looks like. You know what I mean? All those little things that we're all facing now.
Yeah.
You had, and once again, I think one of the silver lining, like the blessing through this of many as you get older and we find out what lay beyond this, was just learning how to troubleshoot and trouble solve. Like you solve problems, and that's all that life is trouble solving, like, right? Problem solving. And you were in a jungle, and you had to find your oasis in a massive, massive desert of loneliness and pain, physically, mentally, and spiritually, and you found it. And here's what's the breakthrough. You found it on your own. Now, I'm not saying that you didn't have the support. I'm not saying your grandparents and friends and family, whoever those characteristics and people were, I'm not robbing them of that. But you have to understand at the end of the day, you only had yourself when your eyes were closed, laying down vertical to help your blood pressure. Yeah. And that shit is surreal. That's some real stuff, man.
That's like what it comes down to though in life though. Like, so when I say you get to wake up every day and decide if you're going to have a good day to some degree, I look back on those times where I was like a very miserable person to be around because I wasn't happy. I was in so much pain. Everything was going wrong. Nobody could tell me, Right. But it's like there are going to be times where you lose control of your ability to shift your perspective. Right. But when you have the ability to shift your perspective, that's something that personally I'm very conscious of and try and use to my advantage because the reality is you're in control of a lot more than I think we realize.
Well, we're all guilty of it. Like I said, today I had a stint where I was in poop station. I have no idea really why. Just because it's probably why I failed at school. I hate responsibility and I have things I got to do later today. And she's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, well, I've been doing these things. And she's just like, you're an idiot. Look what you're doing. Like, look at your life. Look at. And of course, I didn't necessarily need that, but I needed it, And it's funny because like your seasons can change. And that's another thing too. I think it's powerful to realize is it doesn't just take. You can have a good day and a bad day all within the same day. That's interesting. And I'm not preaching this, people. I'm learning this because I just went through one. I woke up. Agree. I was dancing. I had a dancing morning. I literally do dance.
I know for this.
Like, I'm not joking when I tell people that. I literally wake up. If you don't, I swear, if you have got to your bottom of don't know what to do, dance. It will help you. Yeah. And dance literally as if people are watching. Who cares? Just do it. So I danced. I was doing my thing, and I'm like such an old school techno fan guy. Come on. I just remembered to put on like 90s trance, as ridiculous as that sounds. And I put on some 90s trance. Forget about it, bro. I was raving. Had a good morning. I confirmed. Did I confirm with you this morning? I already did that last night, so I didn't have to. But things were. I had an impromptu meeting this morning, which is always fun. I was like, I can squeeze this in. Went really well. I was told by a really nice lady today that like she's been watching the show and it's been helping her. That meant a lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So had that, and then boom, I start crashing like a knucklehead. But that
happens because you're a human.
I know we're humans.
We're all humans. Yeah.
But isn't it funny that's how it can go?
Yeah.
But I appreciate you sharing all this because once again, nobody has it figured out. I haven't had to say this yet because I haven't met too many jerks lately. But the next jerk that I meet that thinks he's got it figured out, I'm just going to say, where do the sperm whales migrate? And we'll be like, I don't know, because nobody does.
I know.
So as cool as you are and as smart as you are, nobody knows anything. We're figuring it out, but we do know a lot, but we don't know some of the most simple pyramid sperm whales, aliens, simple little things. Dolphins, can't talk to them. Whole rhythm, right? We're not that cool. So boil it down. And it's really that childlike mentality. Really is. I was talking to someone about the other day. Isn't it? When you hang out with me, I hope you feel like a little kid. I don't really.
No, I do.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no stress. There's no pressure.
Yeah. You feel that?
Like very, yeah.
People,
well, and you guys like sage me every time I come in. So that helps. Last Friday, I'm like, I think you should burn that. She sages everybody. Anybody before whoever comes over. That's smart.
My wife is like sage. Listen, I don't get into all the, the like alien aspect of it. I know that there is probably some chemicals that are in this sage when it burns that are helping us.
Antibacterial in the air.
Or whatever it's doing.
You're not getting the flu.
Smells good.
Yeah.
So she's saged. But yeah, she saged you.
I know. And then she tried to pretend that laughing. She wasn't doing it.
She's out of scene, but she's right there.
I was like, are you saging me? She's like, no. I'm like, yes, you are. It's okay.
You were like dancing in it. You're like, sage me. But we've gone through so much in such a short period of time as humans. And that's what I think is interesting. If, once again, not to preach people, but what I'm practicing, the more and more I remove myself from the focal point and I try to find the common ground. Literally, like if your favorite color is yellow, bet in that moment I'm going to figure out what else is yellow that we can discuss or chitty chat about just because it's what you like. And through that moment, all of a sudden, that Jubilee is what I charge off of. And I don't think that that's some kind of isolated event. For instance, if what you charge off of is dogs, and even if I didn't like the dogs, which I do, but in that moment, find the common ground, man. And if you don't like the dogs or you don't like the yellow, then there's nothing wrong with actually don't keep putting yourself in the position that you don't go to the baby shower if you don't want to go. Telling you, that was the biggest thing for adults that I learned. This adulting is stop doing shit you don't want to do. That's it. And let me tell you something, get ready for your family to be very mad at you. Your friends will be mad at you. Everyone will be mad at you, but guess who won't be? You. And it has nothing to do about changing your geographical location. It has nothing to do about being a better job. Just stop doing things that you don't want to do. Now, listen, I think that there comes with there's some bylaws to that though. You owe someone money, pay them back. You owe someone spiritually, pay them back. Yeah. If you keep asking for things, for instance, you threw 17 baby showers in the last year and someone asked you to go, you should probably go, right? I feel like there's that rhythm. Don't be just a taker and not give. But if you're the one, literally to this day, those that know me well, if you ask me to bring you to the airport, I am not bringing you to the airport. I will get you to the airport, but I am not driving to Orlando unless I'm flying with you, period. But I will get you there. But guess what? You also will never, ever, ever get a call from me saying, Emily, you take me to the airport? Because you'll be like, yo, dude, I asked you last week. So don't be that guy or gal. There comes with there's a realness to this. So don't be someone but if you're going, be someone who helps, but don't be someone who just keeps giving out without taking care of yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing that I had to learn very recently, the airplane, man. You don't have a lot of people on your airplane though. That was kind of I don't want to call it a curse it's like a blessing in disguise. That's what that was. Because I had a lot of people. When my airplane was about to depart for the first time in this adulting game, I was stacked. I needed like a Boeing 777. I need that Trip 7.
But that was like an active decision. So like I moved across the country,
right,
north to south, right, and left a lot of relationships that probably didn't serve me the way I thought they did anymore. And that was an active choice. I very easily could have stayed there and carried on.
A lot of boarding. Yeah. But you don't board a lot, which is awesome. And I feel like we're all guilty of it. Once again, anxious idiots, codependency, all these titles are applicable to me. And I'm the first one to say it. A lot of people I don't think want to admit it. And some people are dealing with it in a clinical standpoint, and my heart and love goes out to you. I'm not dealing with it, I don't think, to a clinical basis as far as the codependency and being an anxious idiot. Though I've got stories that probably could warrant some of the clinical. I never entertained it. I just had to deal with it. And once again, how to what am I going to do about it? But that's why, once again, we're sitting together and you're at this table. It's more than you being a real estate agent. It's more than you being a hospice dog center. You are a wonderful person. You know that?
Thank you.
And you've taught me a lot. Once again, not all bad things either. I'm not all doom and gloom.
Teach you bad things?
No, meaning they're not always bad things that you're going through that I learned from.
Oh.
There's been times where
well, that's really good.
I've learned all my bad characteristics and habits off of you. No, it's more of, once again, maybe it's how you've had dialogue with your clients. Maybe how you have not had dialogue with your clients, right? Like there's so many things that you've done that, once again, all those that are on my aeroplane, which the boarding changes. Isn't it funny? An airplane's in the air majority of the time. It's not on the ground much. They ain't making money when it's on the ground. So our airplanes are up a lot. It's really important to realize that we're always flying, but it's really important to know who's on that plane. And you're on there. You may even have first class.
You have first class on my plane.
You even have, I think you got lounge access.
Both of you guys.
Really? She gets it too?
Yeah, of course. And the dogs. Hello.
Can they be crate free out of the plane?
Yes.
What?
It's the only way to be.
Babe, crate free dogs on the plane. Aw. That's really special though. And you know that one of the characteristics I loved most about you when we first met was this is going to sound so oxymoron, but I'm so private, right? Right? People are like, yeah, right, dude. You whore yourself on the internet. But I'm very private about like my life, so to speak. And there's always that small gamble when I start like with my vernacular crushing on someone and I let them in my aeroplane and I'm like, now listen, be really careful about who you tell about our flight paths because there's a lot of people, good and bad, who doesn't want to fly together. And when we first met, and I was like, listen, just kind of keep it chill.
You didn't even tell me that. You didn't tell me not to tell anybody. I just didn't tell anybody because I'm like, whose business is that? But
it was a good, you know what I mean? And not that I have anything to hide. It wasn't anything, but it's just.
I don't like people knowing my business either.
Yeah.
It's like a big deal that I told everyone I have 4 dogs. I think it's like a big deal because there's a lot of judgment that comes along.
Yeah, you're a crazy dog lady.
Yeah.
Who knows about your medical background? Was that? If people so choose to listen.
Are close to me, but I don't know that they really know.
Like clients don't know. Most people you work with probably don't know.
No, everybody is like, you should come for run this 5K with me. I'm like, I'm physically unable to do that because I look fine.
Right.
Honestly. But even like I just had the flu for like 40 days, which was miserable since before Christmas. And like the reason I was sick for so long is because I have this. So like every time I bend down, I got dizzy. I like fell in my house because I was sick.
You need
so I need a life alert. I really do. I'm like an old,
65 going on 25.
So no, nobody really knows. But I mean, it also, I wouldn't ever want to be treated any differently.
Correct.
Or have any kind of like,
right.
If anything, I probably just need like a little more sleep than most people.
Right.
And then I have to like eat really well, which is hard when you're always like in the car.
Right.
So that's my own thing. So then I try and meal prep and stuff, but
what are you doing these days? You're not doing the mung beans. Remember the mung bean thing?
No, I think the mung beans started the
killed you.
Sickness. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to eat better.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's really hard.
It's so hard because everything is bad for you. I just can't. And then I find myself in situations where I have to eat out a lot. So that's really
right. Because of your schedule.
Yeah. And I'm not complaining. It's just like, so I'm like, well, I would never make a hamburger at my house.
Right.
Because I cook for one person and the dog. So it's like, we're not eating a hamburger. So I'll get like that when I'm out.
Those that are cookie McCookersons, that's tough. I'm not a cooker guy, but I know when you're cooking for one, it's really tough because everything's made to,
It's like, I even bought like pre-made cauliflower mashed potatoes. And it was like 4 servings in this thing. And I'm like, I got to eat this for 4 days.
We're overdue for some dinner dates, by the way.
I know.
Even though our dinners have been we're in a food war here. Camille's on that Whole30, son. So
Liz just did Whole30.
Oh, she did it?
Yeah.
She accomplished?
I ate clean, like 100% clean for 3 days. And I called her and I was like, first of all, I don't know how you're still alive. Because she's been doing like to the T. Wow. She ends the beginning of February.
Good for her.
She
doesn't drink?
She has not been drinking. No.
That's probably, it sounds so alcoholic-ish.
No,
but that's just the hardest thing. She I don't want to blow her up.
Good.
I know.
Because you got to live. What if you die tomorrow?
Amen.
Heaven forbid.
And she's so well reserved that she was, her sister came to visit the other day and she don't go hard in the paint anyways. But my point is, she was literally, she goes, I just want to have a cocktail. It was beautiful out. We were in front of Breaks. Yeah. And I said, babe, go do it. Isn't it funny? There's always a balance, and that was pre-Kobe. That was the pre-Kobe story. It's so sad in a minute, it's over.
I know. So like every night before I go to bed, I'm like, if you died today, would you be happy with what happened today?
Would you be happy now if you died today?
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, so I have a great.
I'm not saying we don't want things to accomplish.
No,
but I think you know what I'm talking about.
No, but I just mean overall, like I have a great life.
Yeah.
And I think I figured out how to build it and live in it and sustain it in a way that doesn't make me hate it. So that's the biggest, like being an adult is really just like creating a framework and then operating in that framework and making sure that makes you happy. And
isn't that interesting?
Maybe it's not, I don't know, but
I think that was very well put.
I'm at that point.
Yeah, you don't resent your life. Obviously, we have goals and aspirations, of course. So I'm not trying to say like, if today you die, no, duh. I mean, of course, I don't have the Ferrari yet. Those kinds of things, even though that's not what's important. But you get my point.
Yeah.
That's what is I'm ready.
Yeah.
It's crazy because all these interviews that are surfacing now of Kobe, and there are a lot of people. I think it goes with a lot of great interviewers will start to entertain death and that what are you going to be left? What are you leaving here on this earth?
Your legacy. That's something we don't think about.
And there was one she's a sweetheart, and I don't know who she is. Like, I don't know her name, but she does these, she's on Good Morning America, I think. I don't watch the show, but I think that's where I've seen her. Anyway, she's notorious for just being like super to the point. And she had there's this like 30-second clip of her sitting down with Kobe, and she says 1-word answers only. And she said, I don't want to butcher it. So just if you guys want something to watch, it's a really quick, it's like something good to just watch to like while you're sitting on the shit or something. It's a really great 30 seconds. And she says like NBA, and he says something really powerful, like something. Then she says retirement, and he says peace. And then she says legacy. And he like catches him off guard. And it was the last question. And he kind of like, he went somewhere. And he went literally involuntary, kind of was just like, wow. Like he was like, he knew only had one word, and the lady like interrupts him, and she's like, that's perfect. Because what he did, once again, I'm not trying to get into like the whole Kobe effect. Everyone's got different opinions right now, and it's high season. There's a lot of people dying. And my heart goes out to all. When you lose someone like that, I did mine. I've had mine. I've had my fair share, and I'm going to have more. My point is, get to a place that you're ready, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen real soon. But I'm happy. What I love about when something like this does happen was my buddy's brother, my buddy who had passed away, Matthew Robinson, his brother's Jonathan Robinson, very, very dear to me. He's not a friend. He's my family. Like I don't have a choice. I love that man. Point is, he posted something yesterday or today, and it said, Kobe's already upset with everyone that's like sobbing, like get to the gym, do something, be happy. It's going to be that quick. But that's my point, is that it's going to happen. And I'm not afraid of it. And I think that's what I found interesting too, with some of these interviews that are coming out. People would say like, are you fear of death? And he was like, nah. And I'm not fearing it. I'm like ready for it. Not in a bad way. I'm not trying to say like, I'm going to go jump off a bridge or something, but it's a good place to be in when you know that literally if today was your last. And it's crazy. I'm going to go. So right now I'm on a high, right? This has been a great show. I love you very, very much. What you've taught me, what you didn't teach me, all these things. And then in 2 minutes after the show, I'll be like, damn, I could crash. And then you got to get right back up and realize what you do have. And I don't like to say things that are too habitual, like redundant, whether it's a prayer or whether it's a statement or a saying. But there are some things that I do say that are pretty reoccurring, and that is, make whatever your joy is, and you better really be careful where your joy is, right? We've heard these statements and scrolls that have been written right before us. Where your heart is, your treasure shall be, et cetera, et cetera. Where your joy is coming from, you better really make sure that it's not physical.
I think a lot of people don't know where their joy comes from, and that's the problem.
Really?
Yeah, because I think even if you do know where it comes from, maybe it's not consistent. And it's really focusing on that and figuring out how to bring that out. And that's what keeps the darkness out.
You think there's more people that don't know where their joy is than do? I don't
know that there's more, but I think a substantial number of people. Sometimes I don't know where it is when you get in that headspace.
That's a crazy question. I never thought about it. Where is your joy
You're
come from?
so grounded that you can sit there and say it comes from X and Y and Z. There are other people that are just...
Really?
Myself included at times, yeah. And even you, for those moments where you're down.
I love this show. I love the people that sit in this chair. Yeah, I never really thought about... I guess... I definitely don't waver from where my joy comes from. That's without a doubt. Maybe that's why my involuntary actions are in igniting people. Because I've told, when I figured out...
stronger than most, though.
Yeah?
Emotionally and spiritually stronger than a lot of people.
It came from not being, though, because I remember, when I first told my... when I first went independent, I had 2 clients. And to this day, I still talk with one of them. He's still a client. It's crazy. It's like, it's absolutely surreal. Like, we've literally grown up together.
It's amazing.
We had a chat the other day, and I'm like, he's always been very professional, like purry this, purr that. And I've always been like, what it is, homie. And he's always hated that. And we had this like really great chitty chat the other day on the phone, and was like, dude, hey, Chance. Oh. Okay.
Sorry.
He wants that ear. Come on. But my point is, he was one of the first clients that I said, in a very good way, you're not my source. Like that client and all of my clients, I want them. I don't need them. And that's a big shift. And don't get me wrong, what they do for me, when I render services and I'm being compensated, is what's keeping my bills paid 100%. But when you look at someone, whether it's friend, family, foe, client, whatever it is, and there's a sense when they know that, like, I don't need this. I want this. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
That is literally the paradigm shift of life, is when you can look someone in the eye. I tell Camille this a lot more than probably most husbands and significant others. I'm like, yo, I got to get ready for you to die. So crazy. And I tell her, you got to get ready for me to die. And it's going to happen. We don't like to think about it.
Right.
I still believe in things that hopefully would happen if there's, going to be something where we want to call it a rapture. I still hope that it never happens. I have this fictitious, like, I don't want it to ever happen. There's a ton of people I don't want to lose. I don't want to go through it, but it's going to happen. And when you're able to look at someone in the eye and say, I want this, I want you, like, I want you, I don't need, but it's crazy. Not a lot of people will sit in that chair or stay in your atmosphere after you tell them, like, I don't need you. It's powerful.
Well, it's offensive because everybody needs to feel needed.
Right.
I think this is a big reason why I'm still single. I don't need anyone. Yeah, absolutely.
You think men can taste it?
I think that we're in our society, the man is like the provider and just culturally. And I don't subscribe to that as the norm. And I think I'm also probably a bit of a control freak because it's just me. So I have to be. If I'm not, like, no one else is going to do it. The dogs aren't taking out the trash. Like, they're not paying the bills, They're
not trapping those possums.
Oh my gosh, possums.
But I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But not needing, right?
Right.
Wanting. It's really powerful, but it's not always the best kind of powerful.
No. It is tough.
Well, maybe it is the best kind, but
I don't know if it's the best or not, but I can tell you it's shaped my life. It's shaped, and I only learned it through tragedy. I have no qualms in telling everybody all the deaths that I had went through upon Matthew Robinson passing away in my life. That was my moment that was it. I was like, that never again will my happiness, as effed up as it sounds, my happiness no longer, for the sake of my livelihood, could no longer be contingent on a human being. Because it was. I loved that man more than I loved myself. I wanted to be him. I wanted to emulate him. Everything I was working on had his name on it, not legally, but was a brainchild of us. Literally, he was my left nut. Like, I couldn't think without telling him, like, oh my God, nothing was done without going through the filter. And I had to I was not reminded. I was informed rather quickly and promptly that, hey, Holmes, this ain't about them. This is about you. And I wouldn't want my worst enemy going through that metamorphosis stage where I needed it. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm a big believer in the guy upstairs, and I feel like through that dismay, a lot of things came into place, which I wish I would rather them not in places to have him. I still don't. I think it would have happened by consequence anyways. But my point is, holy shit, did things come? Like, I literally was like, I'm all alone in a good way.
No, I felt like that when my grandparents passed. They passed within a year of each other from no particular ailment other than, we say a broken heart.
Right.
It's usually within a year.
Wow.
And then the whole world opened up, and I sat there and said, okay, my entire life I've ran every decision because I never actually got to decide through these people that aren't here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do now?
Mm-hmm.
And it just everything shifted. And
Yeah.
you're standing there on your own 2 feet. I know that feeling. And you're like, okay. And what do I want? What do I want that has nothing to do with anyone else? Because I've been so codependent on this situation, knowingly or unknowingly. Now it's not there anymore. What do I do?
Yep.
And that's terrifying.
It
makes you, I think, stronger, because now before I do something like this wedding, I still don't feel good about the ramifications of what I did, but I know that for me, it was the right thing, and I'm accountable to myself, and it has to be, I have to sleep at night.
Mm-hmm.
You know
what was precious though about that? When you politely declined, even though you were already in, you were head deep into that. That was a beautiful message that she wrote back to you.
Well, I think because she knows that I just she could probably feel it through the airwaves that I'm having a panic attack about getting on a plane and leaving and all that stuff.
Isn't it beautiful though that those that really...
But those are the ones you keep close.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't have a lot of people in my life.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
It takes too long to explain your soul to a lot of people.
Yeah, it does.
When it comes to people on your plane. You know what I mean?
Well, the crazy thing is that, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just sponging so much of these. That's why I love this show, is that I don't love anything that's not physical. So, I mean, you know what I mean? There's this, this metaphysical aspect to this, and so many people get it. And after the show, they're like, damn, that was amazing. The therapeutic nature of it. And I know you're feeling it. Yeah. It's good. It feels...
I'm not sweating anymore. That's a plus.
Sweating's good though. It means that something was activated. I think something, you tapped into something, bro.
Anxiety.
Anxious idiot. Camille doesn't want me to do that shirt.
Why? Well,
because she thinks it's going to offend some people.
Wow.
I don't know, but that's just, I'm going to be wearing a shirt, people. And if it offends you, my apologies, but I don't know what I'm doing in my life except for trying to keep my 4 walls intact, not on the contingency that anybody else's pain.
I'm not laughing at you.
I have a shirt being made. It's called Anxious Idiot because I'm absolutely an anxious idiot.
You don't even wear shirts.
I know, that's the other thing.
For an hour a day, while you're at 2 hours a day when you do this podcast.
I know, but it does say in recovery, which I thought was a cool little disclaimer. Yeah. But I won't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'll wear it out.
It's a conservative mindset.
I know. Camille's like, you're gonna offend some people. Da, da, da.
Yeah, but maybe you just build your tribe even further because they come at you for the shirt.
Anybody I've used it in meetings. You saw me. I was at the meetings with the dwarves, the 12 dwarves. I say out of love. You know what I mean? It's just whenever there's a lot of people.
So for anyone that doesn't know, we tried to interview Chenzo for the Young Professionals group of Flagler County, which I'm a board member of, and he politely declined. In an extremely respectful, still brought value to the table, incredible way. And we ended up with 2 great board members because the time commitment was an issue for you and some other things, but he really kind of reinvigorated everything.
Well, I appreciate that.
And we appreciate you.
That meeting was a very Matthew Robinson moment in my life.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I had no idea what I was walking into. Well,
so we're just people. We all get up and drink our coffee in the morning.
Correct. But I had no idea it was an interview.
I was eating a donut while you were there, and then I put it on my notebook because I didn't have a napkin. Does it get more human than that?
No. And the fact that you were in it, once again, was a huge, it was pivotal to my execution of not knowing what I was going to do. Literally had no clue that that's what I was walking into. You knew what you were going to do. Well, I knew what I was going to do, but I had no idea who was going to be.
It channeled through you.
Well, I appreciate that because I was talking about this to Sean Baker the other day. My first ever in person. Well, first of all, the eulogy when I did for Matthew Robinson was my first ever. I got to get in front of. I don't even know. I think there was literally 300 plus people, if not 4. I forget what the number was. We didn't know that going up, but I just remember that was one of my first ever experiences of being in front of guest speaking, if you want to call it, even though it's but you get my point. Yeah. I remember thinking then, and I'm not one of these guys. And if you guys are, then God bless, I love you for it anyways, but I'm just not I don't talk to people that are not here. I mean, I'll yell at them like I do me. I have a thing with wherever I travel, I always say Matt's name. I'm like, Matt Robinson, just because I'm you were here now. But I have those kind of funny things. But I'm not one of those that speak to me or give me. Mm-hmm. But my point is, those moments that I went through, I remember thinking, I'm if I could do that, mm-hmm. and I was literally on the cusp of a mental breakdown. I was having a mental breakdown.
Course, yeah.
I could do anything, but I still who doesn't get the butterflies before anything that's important like that. So it was a very big deal to go into there and to have how many was you? Was there 12?
No,
7, 8?
Probably 8 of us.
8?
Yeah.
It was a package. It was a lot. For me, it was a big deal. So it was nice, and I appreciate your feedback. And but yeah, you guys are all very special because almost all of them have reached out to me and said something really special to me. Like, and I'm thinking once again, I don't pray the same thing a lot, but one of the things I say pretty redundant in prayer is the few things is like, let someone see there's something different about me, but it's not a me thing.
Something different about you. Yeah, I
know everyone's got a flavor, but that's just like, once again, literally the only thing that keeps me going is that, so that's my thing. But I remember something's happening. I don't know. Something's happening. And 2020 has been crazy.
I know.
Not money. Sometimes people are like, how are you? And if you say like, fantastic, you do the little Tiger Great thing from Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
You can't do that too often because people are like, must be nice to eat Frosted Flakes in the morning. You're like, well, you want to come see what they're not too frosty.
Yeah.
But it's happening. Something's really happening. It may just be, as disgusting as it may sound, it may just be that I'm not going to be here too much longer. It could be that. I've been thinking about that. Could be that.
That's it.
I just hope it's in the water.
Yeah. Well, you swim all the way out there.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the beach right now. You're like, you can't even see.
Adam and I are way overdue for a swim, but that would be cool if I went that way.
Yeah.
But anyways, you're a big part of it. You've been a very big part of it.
You've been a big part of my transformation. There's not a lot of people around that just kind of get it and don't judge. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I could literally tell you like, hit a tree with my car today on purpose because and you'd be like, well, why? Not like, you idiot,
Yeah.
And I would never do that, but
I know what you mean.
You wouldn't. You'd just be like, well, what's going on?
I'd ask you if like, well, you can be ready in an hour. I want to walk.
Yeah. You made me walk recently. There's
gonna be more of that. You better get ready, woman. It's gonna be a lot of walking.
I just told you why I can't walk.
I'm gonna get you I'm gonna carry you in
backpack,
trolley. What do they call them?
A wagon.
Just
put me in a wheelbarrow.
But no, I appreciate that, and a lot more people are starting to tell me that they just like to talk to me because I laugh a lot, even when you come sometimes. You get like Grumpy McGrumperson.
Yeah, when I'm like, I shouldn't come to your house because I'm not in a good mood and I can't
I'm like,
get
come.
out of it.
And then you give me all these precursor apologies like, listen, I'm so sorry to do this to you. I don't really want to unload on you.
I don't want to suck it out of you. Like, I don't like it when I'm not feeling strong and it's like, you're usually feeling pretty strong.
Yeah.
But like when I'm not feeling strong and somebody comes in with all their things and they just roll it out on the table and you're like, okay, here we go. Because you're like still trying to deal with your stuff.
Right.
And I'm very like conscious of that because it's not
smart to be that way.
It's not okay.
That airplane gets stacked quick.
Yeah.
But no, I've always told you it doesn't. A lot of time, for those that don't know, if you do call me and you need a little chitty chat or some like pep talk, I'm gonna laugh a lot, like during the chat. Like I am not gonna sit there and go, I know what it's like.
No, you're gonna have perspective.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that shit sucks. Mm-hmm. I'm probably gonna laugh. I'm gonna have a great time, and then I'm gonna remind you that you're breathing. Right. And all what you're doing is involuntary. You need to focus right back on that. And then I'm going to remind you that I have no idea what I'm doing. And then I'm going to ask you if you would like to take a walk, preferably without clothes on, within respect. You know what I mean? I won't have
you
clothes
won't
on.
Have clothes
but
on.
My point is, it's like, let's bring it back down. We've got to be at school tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And all we have is this afternoon. That's the most important thing, I think, today. I'm leaving with the show more because I already loved you. I was doing this for them. This whole thing. I already knew I love you. Like I already meaning like
I love you guys too, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you've shifted my life in such a positive direction.
And likewise. Because we're steering one way or the other. This ship is always going to keep moving and swaying. And you're like on it. You've been part of like you've been in the I don't know the cool ship names, but you've been in the goalie or whatever. I don't know. Is that a spot in the ship? You've been in the galley. I don't know.
In the kitchen. Been cooking.
You are a cooker pants. We had Mexican casserole.
And lentil soup.
Listen, and I'm going to tell you this, peoples, if anybody watched today, even if they're not watching in this moment, they watch it recorded. Correct me if I'm wrong, woman. But if somebody does want to call you or talk to you, and the motive is right, I'm not talking about all the crazy ones that are in love with Topanga. I still can't believe I'm the first person to call you Topanga. That's mind-boggling.
She's like blonde.
No, she's not.
She's dirty blonde. Yeah.
First of all, we've watched her grow up, so she had like 87 looks.
All right. Wow.
But Topanga, if their motive is right and they're not calling to like kill you in a field, then call this woman. Because I bet you she's not going to. Here's my definition of how you would change someone's life if you allow them in your space. You're not going to be shooting off fireworks. You're not going to be, you're simple, chill. You got the hospice center, and it's very comforting to be over there, believe it or not. I like it.
Thank you. It's the first house I've moved into since 2016, all the way, every box empty.
We're on this. And you already know none of it matters anyways. I'm still living in bins.
I know, and you need to move
I know. I have so many fun toys. One day I'll show you.
You could be enjoying them.
I know, but then it's like hurricane.
So don't sit and wait.
Look what you did to them.
And bring that in.
Your piece put them to sleep.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute.
We did it.
We did. I do want to say one thing. The YPG has a fundraiser, Net9's networking golf tournament tomorrow. Tomorrow. So if you can call in sick for work, send me a message. I will send you the information.
It's during the day?
You can go golf. Yeah. It's a golf tournament.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah. Sunlight. But duh. Mm-hmm. Golf tournament tomorrow. What course? We're not good at this.
It is at the Hammock.
Oh, the nice course?
$75.
Wow. Yeah. What time is it? Tea time early to 6?
I'll send all the information.
We'll put it in the thing.
All right.
So if someone wants to go golfing for the is it benefiting something?
I'll put it in the message. I did not get all the details because I am not a golfer. This is the best thing about our board. We all specialize.
We all specified special specifications.
But I figured since I was here, I would mention it because it's a great opportunity to play that course.
And that's tomorrow. And we'll put all the credentials. Mm-hmm. And no joke, obviously, part of the show too is to highlight the fact that you are a realtor in this area. And you have what I love about you is that you just, once again, you're so chill, Stoey McStowerson. So I think one of the things, if I could say something about your brand, maybe is that if you're freaking out, maybe, because I'd be freaking out. I'd be like, freaking out? Me. I would be anxious idiot buyer man.
Oh.
Or seller man.
We'll take care of it.
I know.
There's just, it's
chill.
All processes. We have all those.
What I love that you've been on, how many houses have you done yourself? Like your own houses?
3 in the last year.
It's awesome. Yeah, like that's once again, you're practicing it, not just preaching it. So that's awesome.
When I meet new people, they're like, you're the flipper realtor. I'm like, am I?
I'm the flipper.
I never mean to. I'm like, I'm going to buy this house. I'm buying equity. It's great. And then the market is still like coming up. And I'm like, well, I could just not live here anymore and then do another one.
Oh, you can't leave now.
I got to stay where I'm at.
Yeah.
I got a fence for the dogs. I have that Florida room.
The possum's gone.
The possum is gone. The guy keeps his trash can behind the fence. For anyone that doesn't know,
that's what it is.
Chenzo was at my house and one night, they left. A possum comes in the yard, aloof, who can't care about anything, but is in love with this possum, is biting this possum. I get 2 inside. Yep. I call him. I'm like, you got to come back.
I did.
You and Camille come back. Thank God. I'm there with a chair and a broom. I don't know what I think I'm going to do. Trying to get everybody apart. There's like trees and bushes. Horrible. Scares the possum right up the tree. Thank God for you guys because I don't know what I would have done. Well,
that's my after hours. I'm a what do they call it? Trapper.
Your side hustle?
My side hustle is I do the animal trapper.
Oh
I'm a animal relocator.
Well, so then I borrowed the trap. It never came back.
Nope. Well, it's because my skills worked.
Job. Yeah, as the backup, I was ready.
Thank you for doing this. Anything else? Did we do it?
I think we did it.
Bam. The closeout time's a little bit longer because I'm using my phone now. Let's see. I love Carla Klein so much.
I know, and that's so beautiful today.
She keeps it clean too. She was saying sometimes people are always like complaining because it's not.
Oh, the lens.
Yeah.
That's got to be like a daily thing.
What? Cleaning it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go over
spray.
there. Did it? Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Technical difficulties.
It's such a sophisticated system.
No, it's really not. Boom. 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 You did it.